My name is Francheska Caraballo. I'm from Puerto Rico and I go to University of Puerto Rico, Rio Piedras campus, majoring in nutrition and dietetics. So this past summer, I had the pleasure to do my SRP at UNL with the Crop to Food Innovation Review program. And I work with Dr. Jennifer Ashton and Dr. Edward Dehan on the impact of dietary fiber on primary and secondary processes in kombucha. So to give a little background, kombucha is a fermented drink made with black or green tea, and we also has a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast, which contributes to the fermentation process that is also well known as the SCOBY. So the SCOBY consists of a community of acetic acid bacteria and yeast. It also have lactic acid bacteria in it, and these organisms are potential probiotics that contribute to the health benefits of the drink. And also, we choose fiber because this has like one beneficial effect that is the effect on gut motility and prevention of constipation. And also data from NH shows that the population in the US are 1/3 below the recommended level. So we think that supplementation could fill this gap, and that basically made our purpose. So we want to create a healthy drink that people will enjoy with the dietary fiber, and they can choose better options without changing the mindset of the consumer. So we had two hypotheses. We had our primary hypothesis is that the addition of fiber for the kombucha will not alter the taste profile of it, so we can classify it as a high fiber food. And our second hypothesis was the addition of fiber to the primary fermentation process will alter the microbial composition of the SCOBY. So for our methods, I spent a lot of time in the kitchen lab, which was really exciting. I had a lot of fun in it, and I made the kombucha from scratch. So basically, what we did was boil the tea, and then we added multiple jars, waited for it to cool. Then we add more water, and when we added the fiber and the sugar. So we use 5 different type of fiber. We use inulin, we use resistant maltodextrin, and fructooligosaccharides, and a 50-50 mix between inulin and FOS. And we also have 5 jars without the fiber on it that we're going to use on the secondary fermentation process. So after the 7 days of the fermentation of the drink, then we start the secondary fermentation process that we move those kombucha drink already made into the sealed bottle jar so we can have the carbonation process to it. And we also add a little bit of sugar and the flavors. So for those jars that didn't have the fiber in the beginning, we added in this secondary process. And also the 4th flavor that we used was lavender and blueberry flavor, hibiscus, the normal kombucha flavor, and ginger. Then we also had some cereal dilution and plating process to see the microbial growth in them. And as the results, we have 3 charts showing in this area that we can see how the pH level was going through the 7 days. We did about 2 or 3 rounds, but in these 2 graphs, you can see the first round being lower than the second round because when you are doing the kombucha drink, you use previously kombucha liquid. So it can help with the microbial growth more faster, but it depends on the pH range. So usually the pH range goes from 2.7 to 3.5, but if you use a really low pH drink before, it's gonna affect for your future rounds of kombucha. So that's why the first one was really low because the previously liquid that we used was about 2 months fermentating, and then the second round was the liquid that we used was from the first round, so it was just 7 days of fermentation, so that's why it's higher and you can see it lowering better. And the third chart is basically kombucha without glucose because we also wanted to see how it was behaving and if we can do a kombucha low in glucose for future drinks. And in the flavor sensory panels that we did, we got to give it to my um, partners in the crop to food program to try it and give it me like rating. So we use a hedonic scale, which is basically 9 being most likely and 0 being less likely to. And we got to see which flavor was the best and which fiber. But the first sensory panel was about the flavor, and we only did the 5 flavor we had, and the most likely was the ginger one. And you can see here in the color, hibiscus was the most higher, but it was the lower in the flavor because it was really acidic in some way. And in the fiber sensory panel, we used that flavor that one. We used the ginger flavor and got to give it to my partners in the program again, but with the fibers on it. So the best fiber was the resistant maltodextrin. So for conclusions, we conclude that these results are significant for developing a high fiber drink tailored for consumers seeking health benefits, and the performance of the ginger flavors and their resistant maltodextrin fiber additive underscore the potential for creating this beverage. And these findings enable manufacturers to create a kombucha drink that satisfies consumer demand for tasty flavors and also offering a beneficial source of fiber for improved digestive health and well-being. And for future direction, we want to test whether there's microbial activity alters the fiber during the refrigeration, shelf life, and also determine whether the addition of fiber to primary fermentation will alter the microbial composition of the organic acid profile of the kombucha. Um, for me, this experience was I was like really grateful because it was my first time on the lab and my first research experience. And for me, being in Puerto Rico and moving to Nebraska for a whole 2 months alone was kind of scary, but really excited at the end. I really got to meet a lot of people. We were around 90 people in that program, and yeah, I had a lot of fun. I met a lot of people from grad school in the food science department. And also, I got to learn about this drink that I thought we didn't consume a lot at all in Puerto Rico. But I was talking to a registered dietitian that works in retail, and she told me there is actually a company in the west coast of Puerto Rico that sells kombucha, and it's called Kombucha Caribe. So, yeah. Thank you, everybody, for listening to me and having me here. And if you have any questions, let me know.